Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
People in Alert Bay say they've been hearing strange screams and howls from the forest at night.
The first thing I saw were the eyes and what I thought maybe were teeth.
And welcome everybody once again to Reaping the Night, Tales of the Supernatural, right here on UndefinedRadio.com. Appreciate everybody tuning in right here in the United States and around the world. Thanks for tuning in to Undefined Radio tonight. It's going to be, we're talking about reincarnation tonight, so we'll get to talk about that. But you know, I've been thinking about, dude, I've had this thing happen to me.
Yeah?
And I need to turn my volume up a little bit. But so, and it was really weird.
Okay.
All right, so I woke up one morning, and I always have my charger by my bed, my phone charger, of course. So I get up, I get the same routine every morning. I'll get up, I'll unplug my charger and my phone, I'll come in there and I'll put it in the studio. Same thing every single day, never changes.
Right.
One morning, I come in here to get my stuff from the studio. You know, I'm prepping everything, and I notice my charger is gone. And there's nowhere for it to go.
Right.
All right, here's the thing. There's no place at all for my charger to go. I can't find it anywhere. I mean, absolutely nowhere can I find this charger. I don't know where it's at. I'm looking. I don't see it anywhere.
It leads a life of its own.
Dude, I'm telling you, it is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And I went and checked my office. I checked every place I could think of to check. And I'm pretty good at finding things.
Right.
I'm all about. I'm the finder. I'm the one who seeks out. And when somebody loses something, I'm the one who finds it.
Right.
So I'm backtracking, and it's never different from one morning to the next. Right. It's always the same. It never changes at all.
Absolutely. Right.
And so I was trying to find it, and I couldn't. I go back into my other room where it's normally plugged in at. And it's not there, of course. It's out of the walls. Like, maybe I just forgot. Okay, maybe I forgot. I don't know where it's at, and I just can't find it.
Right.
You know, that was my thing. That was my thinking. It's like, maybe I didn't unplug it this morning.
Right.
Maybe it was one of those times I didn't unplug it. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll try to figure this out. And I looked back behind my dresser, and on the ground behind the dresser is a phone charger. I have never seen that phone charger. It's not like mine. Mine had a white box with a black cord on it.
Right.
This was a black box with a black cord on it, and where mine was sideways, this one was straight.
Right.
So I was like, that's weird. But it was the exact same plug style as my phone.
Right.
So I got it, plugged it into the wall, worked perfectly. And my other phone charger had been on its last legs, okay? So it wasn't working.
Right.
Worth the crap.
Oh, yeah, I know. Last week, you were really struggling.
I couldn't get this thing working right. And this thing has worked beautifully. I have yet to see that other charger. Hadn't found it anywhere. Don't know where it's at. Don't know where this one came from. But there it is.
That's good, dude.
It works fine.
Hey, man.
I kept saying, I've got to get me a new charger. I've got to get me a new charger because this is not, and I just never did. Every time I go to the store, I forget.
Well, see,
it was never out there.
You may have done it and you may have in your altered state of consciousness and totally forgotten. It happens.
I mean, it's possible. Or the other thing I was thinking about was like, what if this is the Mandela effect and really I'm in a different universe?
Right.
And I stepped over into this universe. You know, maybe it could have been something like that. Dude.
It might. You never know.
I could not find that thing anywhere. Then this one was just, it was just laying down there.
Right.
All right, I'm a pretty tidy person as far as that goes, especially with my room and things like that.
Right.
So it's not like I just keep clutter lying around.
Right.
And there it was. I'd never seen this charger before, and it was lying there.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Completely different than the charger I had.
And I'm telling you, yeah.
Somebody explain that. I'm sure there'll be all kinds of speculations. Well, you probably just, it was probably there the whole time. You just forgot it was an old charger and that one. And maybe you accidentally threw your other charger away. It's possible.
Yeah.
And I'll grant you that the possibility of me throwing the other charger
right.
away could have happened.
At least throwing it somewhere.
Yeah,
Throwing it against the wall.
I'm not going to dispute that could have happened. It could have. However, the fact that I never bought that charger, nobody else has been in my room in 6 years. I can promise you that.
Oh, yes.
You know, my virginity can speak to that, such as it is. we know it's not the case. So I don't know where that came from.
Right.
I have no idea where that phone charger came from. Boy, I can tell you is, it charges the crap out of my phone.
Oh, it's the man.
Oh, dude, it
That's
works
awesome.
great. And I was like, all right, you okay? All right,
Hey,
this is cool.
What if you really need something else, and every time you need that something else, it shows up behind that dresser?
Oh, dude, Young Bo Derek. I need Young Bo Derek.
That's right.
Young Bo Derek.
You got to cut a hole in
Please,
the wall
Young
and make
Bo
sure there's
Derek.
room for her.
Oh my God, I'll take old Bo Derek now. She's still hot.
Oh, yeah.
All these years. That girl's still fine. But yeah, so I just thought that was the craziest thing. I'm gonna tell you about that last week, and I forgot about it. But dude, it was the wildest thing. And I thought about it today because I was, in here in the studio, I've got all my Christmas stuff put up, and I've been rearranging things. And I'd rearranged my studio.
Yes.
And I thought, well, now is when I'll find that other charger. Still hadn't found it.
Yeah, like,
Nowhere around here.
you were kind of running out of real estate the last time, and it's gotten smaller, but there's more other room.
There is. I mean, there's a
just
lot
more
of room.
compact.
So we have guests and we have bands that come in here during some of our other shows to play.
right.
They'll have room to set up and do their thing. So,
If you
I
would
mean,
get
I
rid
like
of this
it.
big Christmas tree.
oh no, dude, that's
and-
blasphemy.
and-
You shall not blaspheme the Christmas tree.
That's right.
What's wrong with you? You got to get in the holiday spirit.
That's right.
For a preacher, you should be this should be your time of the year.
Oh,
You should be all like, whoa.
I know it. I am nonconformist. I have
Dude.
no idea what's wrong
Man,
with
you all be singing Christmas songs, Christmas caroling like crazy.
I am totally 100% enthroned and in love with the nativity and with the birth of our Lord and Savior and with the study of that. But when it comes to the other things, I am the biggest humbug that there is.
Dude, that's so sad.
I know.
I feel so
I
bad
am
for
like
you,
a
really.
Scrooge.
I swear.
I don't know what it
What
is.
is up with that?
I can't help it. It's
Jason
terrible.
really must stay.
Today,
Jesus, it's cold outside.
Today I was singing, all I want for Christmas is a 95 degree.
Oh, dude, I love the cold air.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
I'd like,
Listen to me. You can always put clothes on.
no.
There's only so many clothes you can take off.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I disagree.
And they're, what?
No.
How do you that's like science fact.
I can go outside in the wintertime. It doesn't
Yes.
matter how many clothes I got on. I'm frozen.
Well, you got to put on the right kind of clothes.
I am freezing.
It's probably those Scroogey clothes you got on.
You can't
And that's
move.
why it's doing it.
You can't
See,
move.
if you had a firm belief in Christmas, it probably wouldn't happen to you like that. That Scrooginess
Are
is
you trying
coming
to
out.
say that the Krampus is coming for me?
I'm telling you, that's exactly what it is. So you get the summertime, but the fact is, in the heat, you can only take off so many clothes.
well, listen.
Before that's it.
Here's the thing.
There's
you
no
know,
further
right
you can
now,
go.
In Guatemala, it's now going into their summertime. It is 95 degrees right now in Central America.
No wonder they're trying to get into America right now. They're like, it is too hot down here. North. Let's go north. It is
I told
way too
my
hot down
buddy,
here.
I said, I don't drink, but I absolutely love that Corona commercial with the singing. It's got
yeah, definitely.
the palm trees and
Yeah.
the lights.
Heck yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yes.
And do you blame those people? Like,
No.
no, dude, I'm going north, man. This is insanity.
No.
It's a sin to be that hot. I mean that's why you equate hell with burning up, right there. I mean, it makes no sense to want to be out in the heat. Like, why do people want to do that?
I don't know.
It's like, I love the 95-degree weather. It's
I don't
95,
get hot.
102 is the best thing.
I just don't get hot. I guess my veins are like close to the surface or something.
What's that got to do with anything?
I don't have very much like insulation in to my blood flow.
Well, dude, I don't either. That's why I like the cold air so I can bundle up. It feels
Well, that's
good.
what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know. I just
It's
don't
like
get
I
it.
cannot sleep when it's hot.
Well, there's no air conditioner in Guatemala. And so, in fact, there's not even a word for it. No, there's a word.
I'm just saying, there's got to be a word. It's called air conditioning.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you. But when I first got to Guatemala this last time, I was noticing the covers on them are as thin as a sheet.
Sure.
And I thought, why is this the cover? And I got to thinking, oh, wait a minute, there's no air. And it's like 80-something degrees, and you're trying to sleep.
There's no Guatemalan fan or Guatemalan air conditioner, no
There's a
windmills,
fan.
no Guatemalan windmills.
No,
or anything?
there's fans, but they blow hot air.
What?
Well, think about it.
What they have?
They're
air
just moving
conditioner?
hot air.
Well, move a cold air.
There's no air conditioning.
That's a thing in the world now.
I'm telling you, there's no air. But you know what, Chad?
I bet there's air in the King's Palace or the Presidente's Palace or whatever he is.
It's El Presidente, yeah. Anyway, the first night or so, you're like, oh God, I'm hot. I'm burning up. I can't take this. But after that, after like the first night, you get used to it.
Yeah.
And you don't even miss the air.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that is a lie. There's no way. No way. It could be if it's 70 degrees in my room when I'm trying to sleep, I can't sleep.
70 is too hot for you?
Oh yeah.
What are you, a polar bear?
It's like it better be snowing in there. You better kick up a storm. I want to see Frosty standing in that corner, not even a little bit afraid, because it's so cool in my room. Yeah, I can't handle it. I cannot handle it. So yeah, no, but I love it, dude.
So you mean to tell me when I went in there last week, we went? I didn't even know that was where your room was, but you had the door open, and it was about like maybe it was 68 in there. I was like, was that like a tropical 68 to you?
Yeah, it was a little warm, but it'd be a little bit cooler, a little bit too hot, man. I can't handle it. I don't like that, dude. See, but that's just me. That's the guy I am, man.
Yeah.
I like doing
There's
that.
nothing wrong with that. I don't fit in.
So you know what, and on this channel, like Baby It's Cold Outside, we play that on Undefined Radio, by the way. Baby It's Cold Outside, don't get kicked off our air. Just letting you know.
We do not play Christmas music on Reaping the Night.
Baby It's Cold Outside. You know what? I got a special.
No,
I've got a special Christmas song. As a matter of fact, I'll find it during the break. I'm gonna play it after the break when we get to the break time. Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, so you gotta get in the Christmas spirit, dude.
I hear you.
I mean, come on. We got to talk about Krampus here in the next week or so.
Yeah.
I mean, and some of those things like that, as a ghost of Christmas past and future, and some of those things and the beliefs that permeate through there. I mean, a lot of that stuff.
I absolutely love A Christmas Carol. I love that.
Oh, I do too.
That's like one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of
me too.
A lot of it. I mean,
Me too.
and the old claymation Christmas movies, dude.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. I watched this morning while I was working. I actually watched the Santa Claus Is Coming to Town.
Right.
Mickey Rooney played Santa Claus or voiced Santa Claus. That's right. Love it. Love it. Now look, of course, you guys can't see in my studio right now, but it's all decked out.
It's decked out, guys.
Matter of fact, the hallway leading to my studio is decked out.
Oh, I know.
It's very festive.
I thought I was in the mall. Like I came in here, there was lights.
It's awesome. But I'll tell you one of the reasons
Times
we did
Square
it.
in here or something.
But look, one of the reasons we did it because one of my best friends, Howard Bowen,
Yeah, I know Howard.
he does a thing every year called Santa's Heroes.
Right.
All right, so what he does is, in the county we live in, there's about 80 to 100 families or so that don't have Christmas for their children.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean,
he's a first responder, isn't he?
That's right. He's a first. He's a firefighter, and so he started this fundraiser up about 6 years ago, I think 6 or 7. And what it does is they collect toys to give to kids for Christmas who otherwise might not have one.
Right.
And so we've really jumped on board here at Undefined Radio and at Cockle Family Medical Center, and we put out boxes out front and said, look, if we can fill these boxes up, we're going to match everything that you donate. We're going to donate an equal amount.
Right.
So in the 5 days we've done this so far, we've already filled up 3 boxes.
Wow.
Working on more. Man, that's the power of community.
That's great.
It's the power of people getting behind something, wanting to give something out to these kids, which is a great thing. I think, and people say, well, I've got to buy 4 and I've got to. Okay, that's an excuse in my book. Don't go to McDonald's today.
Right.
How about that?
Right.
You don't have to have that extra Dr. Pepper or Coca-Cola or
$6 pack of cigarettes.
Yeah. Leave the 6-pack of Coke 45 at home or whatever it is you drink, Coors Light, whatever it is. All right, and just go and buy a toy for a child. That's all you have to do. That one little thing can make all the difference in the world to one.
That's right.
So you can do that, and people have really stepped up and brought us a lot of toys. So we are extremely excited about this, and it's cool, and we appreciate that. All right, well, look, we've talked enough. We got to get into this reincarnation thing because when you called me earlier and we were talking about this.
Yeah. About
reincarnation.
I have to say that growing up and up until recently, if I heard the word reincarnation, I immediately said, no, that's some Eastern, religious facet. That's something that's been added. That's something, that's 100% extra biblical, and it makes no sense. But, as I've been studying about, last week we talked about Edgar Casey, the sleeping
Yeah.
prophet.
Yeah, we did.
I've been really reading some works and things that he had written, and I got to just studying other areas, and sources of information. I have to say, man, I'm opening up to this reincarnation thing.
Well, look, the thing about reincarnation, for those of you who don't know, it did come from those philosophies out there, like Hinduism,
Well, I don't
Sikhism,
know if it came
Jainism.
from it, but
Well, those are the ones who actually
Right.
started that belief in it, though.
Well,
They're the ones that were,
yeah.
when you hear reincarnation, that's where it propagated from. A lot of people know, you might have heard of the term soul transmigration.
soul transmigration. That's correct. Right.
So it's that's what they're referring to. So when you
Right.
hear soul transmigration, they're referring to reincarnation.
Yeah, well, they talked about, in the way that they look at it is it's a sense of karma. You do something, you live a life as a total scumbag, mistreat other people. You just live a life of utter debauchery. Then you will be reincarnated as a worm. That's what their philosophy is, of course. I don't know if I don't see it that way at all.
Well, and but that's the thing about reincarnation, and that's the difference in different religions and what they
Right.
believe in reincarnation is. Some simply believe that reincarnation is, when this vessel's done,
Right.
your soul, your life force, your energy,
Right.
whatever it is
recycled.
recycled into a new vessel.
That's
And you take that knowledge and everything you gain, that experience with you, even though you don't usually remember
you
that
don't
past
tap
life.
it in personally.
It's a growth of that energy.
That's right.
is what happens.
You are out of touch with it. And
That's right.
And you cannot be in touch with it until you become more spiritually in tune. So back to Edgar Casey, and our show is only an hour long, so I can't just get it all out. So back to Edgar Casey. When he was a kid, he was 4 years old. He's on the back of a horse with his grandfather. His grandfather, they had been running the horse really, really hard, so they've come up to this pond. And so the grandfather wants to get the horse into the water to cool him off. So he sets the little boy on the bank, sets Edgar Casey on the bank, and he takes the horse into the water. As he's in the water, the horse gets spooked and knocks the grandfather off. He falls in the water and he drowns. He can't get his foot out of the stirrup. He drowns. He's an old man, Well, anyway, so Edgar Casey begins to see his grandfather in this barn, and he tells his grandmother and his mother that his grandfather's been visiting him and telling him stories, and lots of stories about the Civil War, about all these things, and of course everybody sort of make fun of him or call him a liar, but the grandmother and the mother know that that's not true, that he's telling the truth, that he's a kid. He's 4 years old, and on further, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. They know by his sincerity he's telling the truth. And his own grandmother says that his grandfather had the ability to move things with his mind. He could actually cause chairs and things to move around, like telepathy. And so anyway, as he's growing up, and we won't have time to get all into it, but he begins to he gets sick with laryngitis, and he had all of these like visions and these things before, and one night he had a vision with this angelic being came to his room and told him that God had heard his desire. His desire was to have an ability for God to use him to heal people and to help humanity. And God so tells him through this vision or through this apparition that God, that he has heard his petition and that he was going to grant it to him. Well, anyway, later on he gets sick, like I said, with laryngitis, and he loses his voice. Well, he loses his voice for like the better part of a year, and he don't know what to do. And anyway, at this time, hypnosis is a kind of a new discovery, something that hadn't really been around in Western culture for a while. So, but anyway, there was a guy, and of course he was a Christian, but he was a hypnotist, a clinical hypnotist, and he decided that he would ask this guy to come over to help him, and he did. He came over after church. So Edgar lays down on this couch, and he puts him in a hypnotic state of consciousness, wherein he says, in a clear, audible voice, "Yes, I see the body," of which he would continue to do every single day for the next 40 years when he would have what he called readings, Anyway, and in his readings, he would give a detailed medical, descriptive transcourse of what's going on with the body. I mean, in medical terms, he had no idea what even they meant, and he would also give a remedy, And so anyway, he said that he sees that there's a blood flow problem, and so it could be corrected with suggestion. And so he suggests different things, and when he wakes up, he spits up blood. His little sister was not allowed in the room, but she was allowed to peek through the keyhole, and she sees this happening. And anyway, she saw what had happened, and after that, he's not completely healed, but he's better. And he gets better, but he has a relapse several times within the next year. But every time he had a relapse, he had that doctor come over, and I forget the doctor's name, but he had the doctor to come over and perform another hypnosis, to which he learned how to do it himself afterward, and he would get better after that. But anyway, later on, he began to say that what he didn't fully remember what he had seen or heard, in the hypnotic state. But he said that there were two types of energy. Now, he would see this go through this white light, this tunnel, almost like a death, people to passing from one life to the other. He said that there was this universal knowledge that he would tap into, and it's called the it starts with an A. I have forgotten what it's called, but something file, the archaic file or something like that. And anyway, he would tap into this, and this information was out there for anyone that can be spiritually in tune to get. Now, this is, of course, it was not demonic. It was nothing to do with demonology, because a demon can give you knowledge and special knowledge and revelation too, of course. But this was not. This was something totally different. Well, anyway, and then he would actually get either directly from the Lord or from an angelic host. He would be given information about whatever the person's going through. So, anyway, he began to say that one way that we have so much of this knowledge that's out there for people to tap into is because people are reincarnated.
Which is, and it's all fascinating. The whole thing of reincarnation fascinates me. It always has. Maybe it's a fear of death or whatever it may be, or it's like it's hard for me to believe that, because my whole thing this is why I can't be an atheist or anything like this.
Absolutely.
Because I refuse to believe that when I die, everything that I am or was is done. It's just it. All right, so especially being a human, and having all these experiences and senses and things that we have, it's hard for me to rationalize that this is it. It's done. I believe that we have that energy. And our energy has been able to be photographed. Some people call it oral photography. The
Akashic records.
There you go.
I know I'd get it there.
So I think that it's easy for me to believe in reincarnation.
Right.
And I believe people can do that. I don't believe that. There's a difference between reincarnation though and then redoing your life again. That's a whole different kind of subject.
Absolutely.
So
and then also the way I see it, and listen, if there's a caller out there that has extensive information on reincarnation, hey, we'd love to hear from you. Call in,
Yep.
Give us the number, Chad.
662-501-7129. That number again is 662-501-7129.
So, if you guys have any, personal, experiences with what you feel like is a reincarnation, maybe presence or something in your life, hey, call in. But, we was talking last week about this little boy. He was 4 years old, and until he was 4 years old, he claimed that not only was there these images and these memories in his mind, but that a person was living inside of him.
Yep.
And it was an African American woman, about 30-something years old, and he said that,
Baby, it's cold outside.
It sure is, and I've got a flat tire.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I don't care if it's cold. I've got to get to work.
Baby, it's bad out there.
I told you to take my car to Batesville Tire and Muffler.
Baby, it's cold outside.
For the last time, change the tire and take my car to Batesville Tire and Muffler and buy me new tires now.
Baby, it's cold. Baby, it's cold.
Merry Christmas, folks, from Batesville Tire and Muffler. UndefinedRadio.com. American Radio.
Are you looking for a local bank that has your best interest in mind? This is Tracy Goforth with First Security Bank. We are that bank, and we are happy to serve our friends and neighbors. We're proud to be part of the community we live and work in, and we're here to help you build a solid financial future for yourself and your family. Stop in one of our 16 branches located in North Mississippi or visit our website at www.firstsecuritybk.com. First Security Bank, we are one. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
For over 40 years, Toby Cinemas has served the North Mississippi area, offering all of the newest releases in a family-friendly atmosphere with prices that won't break the bank. Located at 226 East Main Street in Senatobia, Toby Cinemas has Dolby Digital Surround Sound in real 3D. Go to tobycinemas.com and plan your next night out at the hometown theater that treats you like family. Toby Cinemas, home for family entertainment since 1970.
This is Drew Moreland, and you're listening to the original Texas Red Dirt station east of the Mississippi, Undefined Radio.
Share us on Facebook so your friends can find us. UndefinedRadio.com. Electricity has become a necessity, but it also remains a luxury, and we often forget that until we must manage without it for short periods of time. When storms roll in, our employees roll out to clear debris and restore power as quickly as possible. A lineman is often described as being a hero, defined by a person of distinguished courage or ability that is admired for his brave deeds and noble qualities. Got power? Thank a lineman. But let's not forget the right-of-way crews that help keep the lines cleared year-round and supervisors who remain on duty around the clock. We would like to thank all of our hardworking employees for their dedication for serving our members and their prompt response times. Any storm, anytime, anywhere, Tallahatchie Valley Electric Power Association. To report an outage at any time, you can call 662-563-4742 or visit the website at tvepa.com. Click on the Storm Center to view the report outages. Protect, restore, serve. Tallahatchie Valley Electric Power Association.
For over 100 years, GM has built the world's finest automobiles. And for 60 of those years, Hefner's has been delivering them to you. Hefner Motors team is trained with one goal, your complete satisfaction. Find new roads and drive the USA in a Chevrolet, Buick, or GMC. Hefner Motors, Highway 6 West, Batesville, USA. Or click HefnerChevy.com, a family company.
There's a reason people shop here.
The Local Yokel Show, live Saturday morning and on demand at UndefinedRadio.com.
Wow. Well, we're back, and I rudely cut Jason off right
That's
there.
okay.
I was getting my commercials lined up and in order, and all of a sudden they started playing. I was like, okay. Oops. So, but you were talking about the 4-year-old.
Well, absolutely. So he says that, Mom, that his name is this lady, and his mom is completely concerned, but she says, what in the world are you talking about? He says, I'm telling you, he says, my name is this, and in my family, and this is my mom, and I have sisters, and da-da-da. And so she is so worried about her little boy, and so she takes him to a therapist, and they cannot find what's wrong. But anyway, finally, the mom knows that the boy is not lying. He's a little kid now. He's 3-4 years old. The way he's telling this, he's not lying. He's not making this up. So anyway, they go to the library and look up that name, and sure enough, look in this book of people and all that from that time and whenever, and they find the lady. Says, that's me. Anyway, she had died in a fire of her apartment. And anyway, so he knew every single thing about her, all of the likes of her music that she liked, family, events, where she was from, where she was born. He knew everything about this lady. But when he turned 4 years old, I think it was on the day of his birthday, it stopped and never happened again. And he had no memory of ever even.
And it makes you wonder if at that point that's when he became, when you start losing that, as you gain more and more knowledge about life and life starts filling up your mind and the senses around you, if that doesn't interfere with your ability to connect with that part of your of yourself.
Right, and kind of back to where we were talking about the Akashic records. I was looking at this. It says in Theosophy that the Akashic records are a compendium of all human events, thoughts, words, emotions, and intent ever to have occurred in the past, present, or future. They're believed by Theophilus to be encoded in the non-physical plane of existence known as the etheric plane. In other words, in the book of Revelations, it says that during the Great White Throne Judgment, it says that the books were taken out. And it says, and the other book, which was the book of life.
Yeah.
These books are the Akashic record. This is records of everything, past, present, and future, that ever was going to happen. And until the Great White Throne Judgment, of course. And so anyway, Edgar Cayce, being what he called himself a man of God. Others called him a psychic. Others called him a medium. Others would call him a prophet, But that's just a term. That's just a title. He said that anyone can do it. He said that anyone that can be attuned to this spiritual realm can do it.
Yeah.
Can tap into these Akashic records.
Well, here's the thing. And, you look at this and people will say, well, reincarnation, that's just something them crazy people do. That's the only ones who believe in such things, because other than that, there ain't no such thing as that.
Right.
You would be amazed at the number of people and the number of famous people you've heard of, and we're not talking about just Hollywoodites and those people.
Right.
Think about some of the great philosophers of our time. Pythagoras.
Mm-hmm.
Socrates.
Right.
Plato. You want something a little bit closer to home? How about some of these? And I'll read you even some of their quotes, because I found this is Benjamin Franklin.
Okay.
Great American.
Right.
Great American.
Swam across the river there.
Dude did all kinds of craziness. He was a little bit weird, but Benjamin Franklin was kind of awesome. So here it is. This is what he wrote his own epitaph. This is what it says: the body of B. Franklin, printer, like the cover of an old book, its contents torn out, and stripped of its lettering and gilding, lies here, food for worms. But the work shall not be wholly lost, for it will, as he believed, appear once more in a new and more elegant edition, revised and corrected by the author. All right. Reincarnation. There it is. Voltaire.
Yep,
and look, Voltaire is more than just the little wizard in the box in the movie Big. Okay, it made that made Tom Hanks from a little kid into a full-grown adult. No, he said it is not more surprising to be born twice than once. Everything in nature is resurrection. Look at Henry Ford. All right, everybody knows Henry Ford.
Mm-hmm.
You may not think you know Henry Ford, but
yes.
you see his legacy everywhere.
You can have any color car that you want
That's
as long
right.
as it's black.
He said, I adopted the theory of reincarnation when I was 26. Work is futile if we cannot utilize the experience we collect in one life in the next. When I discovered reincarnation, it was as if I had found a universal plan. Time was no longer limited. I was no longer a slave to the hands of the clock. Genius is experience. It is the fruit of long experience in many lives. The discovery of reincarnation put my mind at ease. I mean, Mark Twain. I've been born more times than anybody except Krishna. Come on. I mean, you look at this, and William Wordsworth, Rudyard Kipling, Thomas Edison, William Butler Yeats. I mean, and the list goes on and on. Gandhi. Here's what Gandhi said. Gandhi said, I cannot think of permanent enmity between man and man. Believing as I do in the theory of rebirth, I shall live in the hope that if not in this birth, in some other birth, I shall be able to hug all humanity in friendly embrace.
So Jesus says, John chapter 4, he tells the Pharisee Nicodemus, unless you're born again, you cannot see the kingdom of God. Now, what he meant by that was, unless you are spiritually born.
He didn't mean physically.
He doesn't mean physically, because he says that which is born of water is of water, and that which is born of flesh is of flesh. But in a sense, what he's saying there is so much more to life than the physical body. The spirit man is way more apt and is in tune with the other side, is in tune with God, is in tune with spiritual things. And so does that spirit just appear when you're born? No. That spirit was already in heaven and was sent to earth in the form of a body.
Exactly.
And so, I don't have the answers, Chad. I mean, I really don't. And so, again, in the beginning, people were, if you ask them or even mention the word reincarnation, they're going to say, well, you're some new age, crazy hippie, tree hugger. Okay, that's not true. There was not a godlier man than Edgar Casey. This man was so godly. This man read the Bible completely through every single year for as long as he lived. He read the Bible completely through more than 68 times. How many can say they've read it one time?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this guy was...
That's a whole lot of reading.
That's a whole lot. I don't know if you've ever seen the Big Family Bible, how thick it is.
That's an undertaking when you're doing something like that.
Times, besides all of his other readings, that was just that. The guy was amazing. I mean, he loved the Lord. I'm serious. But, and I was asking my dad. My dad's a minister, too. He and I was having this conversation. I said, so what do you think about Edgar Casey, And he made a great point. No person that has set their life out to heal others, to do things for them, to literally, not figuratively, but to literally sacrifice their life for the well-being of others is not of the devil. That person is of the Father of lights, is of God. His whole life, and he would have these readings, like I said, every day. He began with twice a day.
Yeah.
Understand, it took 45 minutes in an unconscious state to give a reading. Okay? He did this at least twice a day, and when he got older, he started doing it up to 4 times and 5 times a day. That's being unconscious, pushing yourself as hard as you can for hours a day. Until it got so much he just fell out, passed out, and his doctor told him he has to stop. He has to stop. He's pushing himself to the limit. And he did this because he was helping people.
Well, and that's part of it too, though.
His son had gotten bitten by a spider, and so the doctors could not help this boy. He was dying. Anyway, so he somehow got a hold of Edgar Casey through, I think, a telegraph. And he told him what had happened and, whatnot. And so the Edgar Casey went into one of his readings, what he so-called trance, into his altered hypnotic state. Laying down, he would loosen his clothes. He would loosen his belt. He would unbutton his cuffs on his shirt. And he would put himself into this ethereal trance. It took about 60 seconds or so to kind of get into it. He told the man that he needs to go to so-and-so pharmacy and ask the pharmacist for a bottle of oil of smoke. So he tells the guy, so the guy sure enough listens. He goes to this pharmacist. He finds the pharmacy. He asks the pharmacist for oil of smoke. Of course, the pharmacist said, I've never heard of oil of smoke. I have no idea what you're talking about, and I don't sell that. I'm sorry, sir. Adamant, the man kept on. No, I was told that you have. He said, I'm telling you, sir, I don't sell it. So the guy was dejected, and he went back, and he was able to contact Edgar again. And Edgar said, sir, he does have it. He needs to look for it. So he went back into a reading. He told the man, he said, go back, tell the man, the pharmacist, it's on the 3rd shelf. It's behind bottle, this and that bottle. The guy goes back. He tells the pharmacist. The pharmacist looks at him with total disbelief and says, sir, I've already looked. I do not have. He said, but if it'll ease your mind, I'll go one more time and look. The guy goes back to the 3rd shelf, just like he was told. He moves the bottles, and he finds a bottle of oil of smoke. He goes back. He tells the guy, man, I have no idea where this bottle of stuff come from. I don't know how it got here. I've never seen it. But he sold it to the guy, and the boy was healed.
See, there you go.
I'm telling you. And do you think this guy just conjured this up out of thin air? No. He had tapped into something, into this Akashic record, into what we think of as the word reincarnation. And we've went over this over shows before, Chad, that there are other universes, there are other worlds, because time is relative. Time is something that is invented for you and I to be able to live, to function.
That's right, to count all the gray hairs.
That's right. I mean, time, there is no time in eternity. What is 1,000,000 years for someone that's eternal? For the soul. What's 1,000,000 years? It's nothing. And so it's kind of like when you go to when you're really tired. Have you ever been really tired and worked really a job? You remember when you used to work for AutoZone, or you used to work for those other businesses you worked for?
What you talking about, Willis?
Where you're so tired and you go to bed, it's 11:30, you lay down, you sleep for 5 minutes, and it's 6:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, had it happen.
5
Many
minutes.
times.
You close your eyes for 5, and it's like a time machine.
You know what is going on right now.
You close your eyes, and you're 6 hours in the future.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's because your mind and your body cannot understand what time is. 6 hours has lapsed in a twinkling of an eye.
No, I agree with that. All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about a few of these other religions and their beliefs in reincarnation, because you mentioned at the top of the hour when we were talking really about some of this. Jainism is interesting.
Yes.
Jainism is so interesting.
Yes.
And we'll tell you why on the other side of this break. You are listening to Reaping the Night Tales of the Supernatural right here on UndefinedRadio.com.
Baby, it's cold outside.
It sure is, and I've got a flat tire.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I don't care if it's cold. I've got to get to work.
Baby, it's bad out there.
I told you to take my car to Batesville Tire and Muffler.
Baby, it's cold outside.
For the last time, change the tire and take my car to Batesville Tire and Muffler and buy me new tires now.
Baby, it's cold. Baby, it's cold.
Merry Christmas, folks, from Batesville Tire and Muffler. Undefined Radio for everyone. No, really, everyone. It's time to insure, and we make it easy. Caldwell Insurance on the Square in Batesville. We have the easiest phone number to remember, 563-4567. We have the easiest website, it's timetoinsure.com. And the free app is available. Just search Caldwell Insurance in the App Store. You can use the free app and the website to get a quote, file a claim, and manage your policies. Easy, easy, easy. And we're easy to find. Under the clock sign on the corner on the Batesville Downtown Square. Come see Chris Smith, Jennifer Miner, Kim Rogers, and Perrin Caldwell. We work hard to make insurance easier for you at Caldwell Insurance.
Medicap Pharmacy on Highway 51 near the 6 and 51 intersection in Batesville. The pharmacy in Batesville that knows you when you walk in. Owned and operated by Todd Johnson, who lives here and grew up here. You'll see Medicap on our sign and on kids' jerseys at the ball field. We're involved in this community because we care about Batesville and Panola County. A fully equipped pharmacy with quick service and a drive-through window for your convenience. On Highway 51 in the Piggly Wiggly parking lot. Just look for our sign. Medicap Pharmacy, here for you because we're your neighbor.
Cafe Olé on Highway 6 in Batesville. An atmosphere that makes it easy to relax, eat, and enjoy yourself. Come in anytime for the best in authentic Mexican food or a steak, grilled shrimp, a burger, or club sandwich. Stop in on Sunday for the lunch buffet, including delicious hot wings and a cheese dip. Cafe Olé, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. The bar is fully stocked and ready. Cafe Olé, Highway 6 in Batesville, just a happy place to be. UndefinedRadio.com, American Radio.
Are you changing jobs, planning for retirement, or have you made plans to pay for your children's college education? This is Tracy Goforth at First Security Bank. An IRA can help you do all of this and more. Find out whether the Roth, traditional, or education IRA is right for you. Call Amy Smith at First Security Bank's Trust and Investment Department and let her assist you with your financial needs. Investments are not FDIC insured, have no bank guarantee, may lose value, not a deposit of the bank, not insured by a federal agency.
First Security Bank, we are one.
For over 40 years, Toby Cinemas has served the North Mississippi area, offering all of the newest releases in a family-friendly atmosphere with prices that won't break the bank. Located at 226 East Main Street in Senatobia, Toby Cinemas has Dolby Digital Surround Sound in real 3D. Go to tobycinemas.com and plan your next night out at the hometown theater that treats you like family. Toby Cinemas, home for family entertainment since 1970.
This is Drew Moreland, and you're listening to the original Texas Red Dirt station east of the Mississippi, Undefined Radio.
And welcome back to Reaping the Night, Tales of the Supernatural, right here on UndefinedRadio.com. Appreciate you guys and gals tuning in, as you do each and every Friday night at 8 o'clock,
Yes.
right here on Undefined Radio, as we talk about the craziest, weirdest stuff
Gracias.
ever.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
you can, look, everybody can talk about the regular crap all the time.
Yep.
So we just talk about the stuff that interests us. Stuff that sane people usually don't talk about,
It's-
or supposedly sane people don't
It's
talk
the
about.
stuff that happens to us.
Well, and it's the stuff that everybody thinks about at some
And
point
really
or another.
and really
they just don't
doesn't
want to
think
talk about it.
That's right. I'm reading that book right now, the Yellow House, Old Yellow House.
Oh, yeah, Joyce Wright.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a good book, bro.
It is a good book, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
The craziness that happens in that
And
book.
that's like 12 minutes down the road here.
Yeah, it's not very far off. It's just
You know.
right down the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. But, I mean, it's cool that I love people who aren't afraid to talk about that stuff. Because, I mean, I get it. At one point, you were ostracized if you talked about
That's
things.
exactly right.
And I think we're finally getting to that point where people aren't afraid to talk about it anymore, which is good. They shouldn't be afraid. Why are you afraid to talk about it?
I'm telling you.
Talk about it.
It won't be very long. The lid's going to be blown wide off of the
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
man.
And the people who are like, you're crazy for talking about that sort of thing. Whatever. Go take a long walk over short pier, buddy. I don't care what you think.
right.
And I think that's how everybody should be.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter what other people think. Why are you worried about that? I'm not. I lived my life all these years just fine, not worried about what other people think.
We are the radio station that you can call and you can spill the beans. And
Heck
brother,
yeah.
you're right at home here.
You know, let me tell you something. I see this all the time because you see, like all the apologies. Hollywood's the worst.
Oh,
all
I
right?
know.
I'm a movie buff. I love movies and my TV shows and things, but the Hollywood culture out there is the absolute worst thing.
It's the dregs of
ever.
society. I know.
I mean, and it's funny because the PC, I mean, this PC culture we have going on right now, where you can't say anything or they'll dig up something you said 8-10 years ago,
I know
and then batter you over the
They
head
got their own
with
Akashic
it.
records. Don't
Oh,
they?
dude, it's bad. It's so bad. These people out there, like, well, you know, back in 1927, he said this. I'm like, okay, well, 1927 was a different time. You don't think people grow and change in that amount of time? And what's bad is you have those stars apologize. I'll be like, screw you guys. I don't care. You look, you want to believe that stupid narrative? Believe it all you want to. But what's bad is it's not just those guys that are doing it, but it's the people who give them the power to do it.
Oh, yes.
And
There's an agenda.
it's the minority of people that are affecting the majority
Absolutely.
of the people out there. And it's crazy to me.
There is an agenda, and if you do not believe it, remember, you need to watch the movie They Live.
Oh yeah. Look, I don't apologize for nothing.
Yeah.
Especially unless I know that I've done something wrong.
Right. I apologize for me.
I'll do that.
And for my shortcomings and my downfalls.
Yeah.
You know, I apologize for my.
But I ain't apologizing
me.
for something I might have said that was just dumb.
But if it's something that I know
What's
is the
up,
truth,
Rosie?
I'm not going to apologize for the truth.
What's up, Rosie? My boy. That's right. Well, but that's the thing. People apologize for everything. It's like Kevin Hart just got in trouble for this. All
I've
right?
seen something
because
about he stepped down for some
Kevin
reason.
Hart's so funny too.
Oh, I love Kevin
and
Hart.
this was like, oh my God, 9 years ago now.
What did he say?
Oh, he told this joke about his son being gay on stage. He's like, you know, I gotta say, I'm not homophobic. I like gay. I'm don't hate gay people. I like gay people. Not a big deal. But I don't want my son to be gay. As a heterosexual male, I don't want my son to be gay.
Right.
So now the LGBTQRSTUV, whatever all the alphabets are, came out of the woodwork to bash this dude and get him thrown off the Oscars and all that stuff, saying he was homophobic and it gave gay people a bad name. No, it didn't. He didn't say anything.
Give him a bad name.
Yeah. Oh my! It was awful. It was the most ignorant crap you've probably ever heard. And stuff like that is why I can't stand people. Is that very reason, because they're like, well, he said this, and like, look, dude, I didn't want my son to be gay either. I mean, if you're no parent wants their child to be gay. Look, first of all, now if they are, then you love that child. You support them as best you can, and that's fine.
Listen,
but that doesn't mean you want them to be gay. You're not bashing gay people because you don't want your child to be gay.
Booker T. Washington, you remember Booker T. Washington?
Yeah. Me and him are good friends. Go a long way back.
Maybe in the Akashic Records.
Sure,
he's
absolutely.
been gone a little bit.
Absolutely.
Okay, but he said, this is his, and I quote, "A lie doesn't become truth, wrong doesn't become right, and evil doesn't become good just because it's accepted by a majority."
No, exactly, dude.
And that is the truth.
Exactly.
If there ever was a truth.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. So if I'm ever reborn again, I need to be. So I want to be reborn as a Hollywood star who just doesn't give a crap. I don't want to give a shit about anything. No, just let me go and let me do my thing.
You're gonna be Willie Nelson.
Oh yeah, dude. I'll say
Jeff
it all.
Bridges.
Don't care. I mean, what are they gonna do? That's like, what are they gonna do? That's like Bill Clinton. I'm not a big Bill Clinton fan, but when he slept with that woman, the biggest mistake he ever made was just not saying, "Yeah, I did it." Okay, and because there's nowhere else to go after that.
No.
When you admit to that stuff, like there's nowhere to go.
Well,
like what are you gonna say then? Like, yeah, I did it.
He would have been impeached.
He was already impeached. He got impeached. He got impeached for lying about it.
He didn't get impeached.
Yes, he did.
Bill Clinton?
Yeah, he got impeached. He still had to leave office. Just because you get impeached don't mean you're not president anymore. Nixon just resigned.
Right.
Because he didn't have to. He just did. See, Bill Clinton's like, yeah, I did it. He got impeached, and so what? It doesn't matter. I still slept with that woman after I told y'all I didn't, but there you go. But that's the thing. If he had just said, yep, I sure did, then we're gonna go. Then they're gonna slap him on the wrist and go, well, you're a bad person. And that's all that would ever have happened with that.
Well,
instead of just admitting to it, like
to
me, Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart did the right thing until he finally apologized earlier.
Well, here's the thing, man.
He shouldn't have though.
A man that cheats on his wife and sleeps around with all these women, it's just as sinful as a homosexual man.
Why are you judging me, dude?
That's right. I mean,
that's right.
I'm just saying.
What?
I'm not. I mean,
what?
Listen, there's quoting King David, he says, "Enter not into judgment with thy servant, for no flesh living will be justified in thy sight."
I don't know. I've justified pretty few.
There ain't
some.
a man out there that's going to say, I'm not sinful. I don't need forgiveness.
Well, see, that's one of the things that, like, if the Lord would have said, Chad, did you? I'm like, I had to, dude.
I did it.
I had to.
I'm sorry.
You just don't know.
Well, my point is, and I'm not talking about who's more sinful, who's not. That's not what I mean. There is not a person that if they don't have the forgiveness of the Lord, that's going to make it to heaven, okay?
Sure.
So all sin is sin. There's not one sin going to be allowed in. That's my point. But at the same time, this agenda, they say, oh, it should be accepted. No, it shouldn't. No,
and that's the thing about a lot of things too. And I just think that, look, my whole thing about that, and the whole reason we're talking about that was the fact that as time goes on, I saw this meme today talking about, well, there was something. Well, back in my day, people didn't get offended. It's like, and then the other sub meme to that was, well, that's because back in your day, blacks weren't allowed to drink from the same water fountain. I'm like, okay, maybe if you're 80 years old, that's true.
Yeah.
And maybe even late 60s, that might be true a little bit.
Until the
but honestly,
60s here, maybe.
But honestly, no, that's not true.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's a stupid meme.
It's stupid.
But and the fact is that we getting the thing about today with social media and everything the way it is,
right,
is that you learn from each generation. You learn to get better. This is the only time period I can remember in my life where things don't get better; they actually get worse.
No, Chad. The thing is, brother, and I know we're getting way off topic, and I'm sorry, but I'm just going to take my liberty. There is an agenda to cause animosity. All of this, even the racial hatred and all this is being propagated on purpose.
Sure it is. Democrats want power and money.
Democrats, Republicans,
it
doesn't matter.
They need it.
It's those that are controlling behind the scenes.
I'm ready to start at my
Democrat,
political show
Republican,
now.
or whoever. There are those that are controlling the things that are purposely causing
but you look
animosity,
at it.
fighting, hatred amongst
How
races.
How many times have we talked about secret organizations and things like that, right? Talked about a bunch of that stuff.
Oh, yes.
But it's not really, whether you believe that or not, it's not far off the truth. Like, if you're like the Democratic Party, let's just take them for example, because I like bashing on liberals. But the fact is that if they didn't have, their line of thinking, their bread line that they walk down, if that's their only sticking point is to control those people into keeping their votes to keep them in power, because that's how it works. Right, that's the only way it works. They want you to rely on big government.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Because big government's how they stay in the position they're in.
Yes.
They're talking about, and these are the people who are saying, you know what, you need us. But yet, every one of those people who are saying that stuff up there, not one of those people have opened their doors to a bum on the street who's down on his luck and letting them stay in his home.
That's right.
So they're a bunch of hypocrites, first of all.
That's exactly right. I'm gonna, and I know that this.
Maybe they were reincarnated as cows according to Jainism, which would be kind of. No, I wouldn't desecrate a cow like that. Do Hindu people eat cows? I don't think they do. Do they not?
Do not. No.
I didn't think they did. I was curious.
I want to read.
That.
I want to read one little scripture here, and let me ask you a question. And
Sure.
this is kind of off topic, but it's not.
All right.
Why was Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed?
Why was Sodom and Gomorrah? Because they were a bunch of nasty, throw down, bottom dwelling, literally heathens
They
out
were.
in the desert doing god awful things and all that stuff, just getting nasty.
Well, my thing is, 99% of the people you ask them off the street, oh well, it's because Christians are bashing against homosexuality. Let me read you Ezekiel 16:48-50. It says, and I quote. Now, this is this man's quote. Okay, listen. It says, God compares Jerusalem to Sodom, saying, Sodom never did what you and your daughters have done. Meaning, Sodom was nowhere near as evil as you are, Jerusalem. And he explains that the sin of Sodom was that she and her daughters were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and needy. They were haughty and did detestable things before me. Now, the thing about the homosexual, that was just one little facet. But what really was the icing on the cake was that they were arrogant, unconcerned about the poor and needy.
We're talking about California now?
I'm talking
what are we talking about here?
I'm talking about this agenda that's running our country right now that is totally 100% debauchery. Anything goes. The most sinful, sick, twisted thing you can think of is what they're pushing and saying that this is everyday normal lifestyles now, which is not.
So let me tell you about this girl I dated.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not
Sorry.
going to.
I had to get off my soapbox there.
Nah, it's all right. I'm not going to tell you about her because that's a story that we don't need to talk about right now. Make Sodom and Gomorrah look like Kermit the Frog at Sesame Street. It's crazy. It's not the show for it.
Moving on, Jainism.
That's right. Jainism or whatever it is was kind of cool, though. They believe, though, that you had there are 4 states you could be reborn into.
Right. Okay.
All right. So depending on your karma, like you mentioned at the top of the show today.
Right.
Which I thought was fascinating.
You were born into a caste
So really,
system, right?
if you're like a nasty, sorry piece of crap, child abusing, low life, just scum of the earth, right? You're a molester, whatever. So what is the worst thing you could come back as? What would they bring? What would, according to that religion, what would you come back as?
Probably.
'Cause I think that's fascinating.
Do they believe that do they believe in
your reflection of the karma? You're born back into the reflection of the karma. The human body being the top of the line.
Okay. So they do believe in that you can be born back as an animal or whatever.
That's right.
Okay, I say that they would say.
What's the worst thing?
I say a parasite or a worm.
A parasite or a worm?
Yeah.
I would say John Wayne Bobbitt's penis. I would say that's the worst thing.
Yeah.
I mean, because you know how that story ends. You know how that
They
story.
found it.
Huh?
They found it.
Oh, they found it, all right.
On the side of the road.
Yeah. Cut, thrown out the window. I mean, good Lord. The show is taking a turn. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are done here for the
Next
evening.
week,
We appreciate you tuning
John Bubbitt,
in.
uncut.
That's right. We appreciate you tuning in to Reaping the Night Tales of the Supernatural. Y'all stay safe. We'll see you next Friday night.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.